All right, little guy. We need you to come down to the station with us so we can ask a few questions. The officer bent slightly, trying to meet the strange creature's gaze. The creature looked small, almost harmless, its fur smooth like silver dust, reflecting the dull glow of the streetlights. It tilted its head slowly, its eyes calm but unreadable. "Station! Do you even know who I am?" it asked, its voice quiet, almost like a whisper carried on the wind. Not a voice at all. The officers exchanged confused looks, wondering if they'd just imagined it. No," one of them replied, trying to sound firm, regaining his composure. "Do you know who my owner is?" The creature continued, and teased him. A sudden chill filled the air, making the hair on their arms stand up. "Because if he finds out you took me to a police station, he will not be pleased." The taller officer frowned, a bead of sweat tracing a path down his temple. He tried to hide his growing unease as he gently lifted the creature. It was surprisingly light, almost weightless. He placed it into a small cage and set it in the back seat of the patrol car. The drive to the station was unnervingly silent. No radio, no chatter, just the soft hum of the engine and the faint, rhythmic breathing coming from the cage in the back. It was a sound that seemed too deep, too ancient for such a small being. As they pulled into the station's parking lot, the building's lights flickered for a brief, unsettling moment, as if reacting to its presence. Inside, the familiar hum of the fluorescent lights seemed to dim as they walked past. They went straight to an interrogation room, a sterile, windowless box at the end of the hall. The officers placed the cage on the metal table, the creature inside remaining perfectly still. "Who's watching?" They started the recording. "Name," one of them said, trying to maintain protocol, his voice sounding hollow in the small room. The creature's eyes, like polished obsidian, slowly turned toward the small red light of the camera. "My name does not matter," it whispered, the sound seeming to come from everywhere at once. "But his name does." The officer leaned forward, intrigued despite himself. "Whose name?" The creature blinked once, a slow, deliberate motion. "The man you just called in to report this find. He is already on his way." The officer let out a nervous laugh, a sound that died quickly in the tense atmosphere. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. This was just some kind of weird animal, maybe a prank. But then, the phone on the desk shrilled, cutting through the silence like a scream. Picked it up. The chief's voice came through, cold and urgent, stripped of all its usual calm. "Lock the doors. Now. Do not let anyone in. Do you understand me? Seal the building." Before he could even ask why, the power went out. The room plunged into absolute darkness, a thick, suffocating black that swallowed all sound. The only light was a faint, ethereal silver glow from inside the cage, pulsing softly like a dying star. When the emergency lights flickered back on a few seconds later, casting long, distorted shadows across the room, the cage was empty. The latch was still closed, but the creature was gone. The officers stumbled back, their hearts hammering against their ribs. They fumbled for their flashlights, beams cutting wildly through the gloom, searching every corner. Then, the interrogation room door creaked open on its own. A shadow fell across the doorway, tall and motionless. A whisper, colder than a winter grave, filled the air. "You should not have touched what belongs to him." The security cameras later showed nothing but static for that time period. When the footage resumed, the only thing different in the interrogation room was a broken chair in the middle of the floor, splintered as if by immense force. The creature was never found. The two officers never spoke about that night again. Not to Echa, not to Agnone. They took a leave of absence and were eventually transferred to different precincts. But sometimes when new recruits are working the late shift passing by that same room at the end of the hall, they swear they hear a small, quiet voice from the shadows, asking a single, chilling question. "Do you know who my owner is?" Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more Tales from the Shadows. See you next time.